Hello, Southside. This is Pastor Dwayne, and I'm welcoming you to another night of celebrating good news. We're so excited tonight to have our special guests, Jeremy and Adrienne Camp, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a minute. Thank you all for all your engagement through the week with all of our ministry activities. Monday night, small group with Pastor. Tuesday night, prayer meeting with Pastor Campbell. Wednesday night, Bible study. Last night we had a great lesson from Brother George. Tonight, celebrating good news. And then on Sundays, we have church at 9 and 11. So join us for church. Tune in if you're not here in the building. Also, if you're not here in the building, we want you to show up next Saturday. We want everybody to show up, but especially those of you who have not been able to connect with us. We want you to show up next Saturday for our drive-through prayer. That's Saturday, September 19th, at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We'll have a bunch of volunteers. If you want to volunteer, show up at 8 that morning, and we will show you something to do. There's a bunch of ways that you can help. We want to be a blessing to this community. We want to be a blessing to you, our church family. So that's what drive-through prayer is all about. Let me tell you a little bit about Jeremy and Adrienne Camp. Jeremy Camp got started. He did music in college, but he kind of hit the national scene, it seems like around 20 years ago. I met him as he was getting started, even before I even knew what kind of music he did. Before I'd heard any songs of his, we connected there in Chattanooga. He's always been one of my favorite people to talk to through the years. He's very solid. He's very relevant. The kids love him. It's kids, I'm old, but I love his music too. People of all ages, but his music is contemporary, so it appeals to younger listeners, but he's so solid and he's such a nice guy. And Adrienne is a great singer as well. When I was first getting started, she was in a group called the Benjamin Gate, and they were a rock band, a Christian rock band. She is from South Africa. Jeremy's story and Adrienne's story is kind of shown in the film I Still Believe, which came out in March. If you haven't watched that, it's still available on demand, and I think you could buy DVDs. I'm not sure if that's out yet. All of the movies and stuff is so in flux, I can't even keep up with what's going on, but I know it's available online to purchase. But it's an amazing story about how God was faithful even through the passing of Jeremy's first wife from cancer, and she was very young. So the story is told, it appeals to the younger crowd. They have some actors in there. Actually, Shania Twain plays his mother in there. Gary Sinise plays his father. And the guy who plays Jeremy is on the show Riverdale, and Britt Robertson plays his first wife. So it's a great movie. If you haven't connected with their music, Jeremy and Adrienne have a new worship project out, and it's called The Worship Project. It's a 5-song EP. You can find it on Apple. You can look it up on YouTube. You can watch it, listen to it on Spotify. And it's just a great project. They'll tell you a little bit about it, about the genesis for it or the inspiration. But it's such a blessing for us to have them in our Celebrating Good News program tonight. I know you'll be blessed hearing from him and her, and it's just going to be a great time together. So thank you for tuning in. We love you all. Every one of your compliments and every one of your encouragement means so much to us. And we hear it all the time. This church is just so happy when they tune into things, and when they tell us, they're just so happy to hear from us. And if you're happy to hear from us, we're going to keep talking. So anyway, yeah, we can't take a hint. We're just going to keep talking. So hope this is a blessing to you. Hope you have a blessed week, rest of the week, and see you Sunday morning at 9 or 11. God bless you.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing
Good,
great,
thank you.
man. You having a good day?
Yes, I bet you've been busy.
Yes.
Yes.
It's been bad. I mean, there's like busy weeks and then kind of like a quiet
Lull
week, and then
weeks.
So now for the first 4 months of everything going on, it was so busy. because we did probably 100 interviews.
Yeah.
It was insane.
So many, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We've been busy this week for sure.
Yeah.
I just noticed this earlier today that you popped up and you were doing an Instagram live.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're doing all their stuff like back to back.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly right.
That's what we did.
Well, you seem very cheerful to be having a whole day of interviews. So that's
It's
good.
fun.
Really.
We get to do it together.
We're thankful.
So
If it's,
easier,
I think it's together, it makes it
we
like,
can piggyback off each other. And,
Yeah.
it's like Regis and Kathy Lee now, right? Like
there you go.
you
Perfect.
got a team
Or
going.
Joanna Gaines, what are they?
Yeah, there you go. So how does it feel really to have Adrienne with you doing this project and doing these interviews? I mean, that's a different feeling, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's very natural. I think,
right.
We've always done music together in a sense where like she will sing with me during worship, or sometimes during like we've done Christmas tours together. So we've done this, so it doesn't feel like it's out of the norm. But this is the first time we've done an album together where it's both shared 50-50, not just her singing background. It's like she sings the leads, and it's very special for sure.
Very cool. Well, I talked to you last year, Jeremy, right before the movie came out, and so I know it's been a whirlwind year.
Yes.
I mean, just ups and downs. I mean, we were all pumped for the movie to come out, and then they closed all the theaters.
Yeah.
But still, hopefully the story got out. I know we supported it. Seemed like it had a weekend or two in the movies before they were shut down. Is that right?
Yeah, had a weekend, and then half of them shut down after the first weekend, then the other half shut down the second weekend. So we had about not quite a couple weeks, but you had a week. But I mean, I think for me the special thing about it is that it's gotten out there to a lot of people. Like they've told us the numbers on like DVDs and video on demand and all that, and it's astronomical. So it's done really, really well. And so I think that God has had a different plan, and I think it's
different from what we expected, of course, but
the impact I think has been probably greater because of what's gone on, for sure.
Right. And so did I read this right, or am I making this up in my head that you did this worship album because you were shut down? Is that right? Did you just kind of get it, God put it on your heart during the shutdown?
Yeah, I mean, it
wasn't on our radar at all, actually. And then right after the movie got shut down and our tour got canceled, basically life got canceled.
Right.
Jeremy just on one morning was just feeling really just kind of down, and went and just started playing his guitar, and the Lord gave him a song. And so we put that song out online. We just said, let's just sing this. It was encouraging to us. And at that point, we just wanted to be a voice of encouragement to others, and just going, we don't even know what to say right now. But if we could just use through music to encourage others. And so that's kind of where it started. And then once, we got back home from tour and all of that stuff, we just started writing some songs together and, piecing some other ideas that we had and some friends of ours had. And then, Jeremy just said, I think we need to do a worship album together. And it just kind of took on from there.
Because I think what happened was God kept giving me songs and giving us songs. Mm-hmm. And so it just kind of happened pretty natural. It wasn't like, once we decided to like, maybe we should do this, then we started kind of searching out a little more and kind of thinking through things more. But it wasn't manufactured. It wasn't a thing that we were like, let's just do that right now. Nothing else to do.
Right,
There were songs that were inspired, I believe, by the Holy Spirit. And so I'm hoping that that's what gets across and encourages people.
Well, I think it's really cool because, when the shutdown happened here, we have 3 girls here at home. And so we actually got a lot busier, but there in the first few days, we're thinking, oh, wow, I'm going to learn how to play guitar. I'm going to do all this stuff, all these things that you're going to, okay, we're going to be shut at home. So we're going to get all this stuff done. And, it didn't really happen. But I'm just so impressed with the fact that God laid that on your heart and you did it, and it actually came out. It wasn't just an idea. Right. It was something where you at least you had the initiative to see it through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have to brag about Jeremy for a second as well, because we got home and everything every part of our life. Like we live and breathe in the public world, you know, so can't play shows, can't go to churches, can't do all of these things. And so he called his producer and he set up a little home studio. And I mean, it had been probably 15 years maybe since Jeremy had sort of gotten behind the computer part of it, and called his producer, and he just decided, like, I'm going to just pour my heart and soul into learning this. And then so that was sort of what also gave us the capacity to, we actually recorded while we were at home in California, and we recorded with our producer in Tennessee while Jeremy was sort of like engineering it, and our producer had taken over his computer. It was just this like crazy fun setup, you know.
He could hear us singing and his speakers through my setup, and control my speaker, my computer while we're singing. It was pretty incredible.
Wow. And you're in California, so it's still pretty shut down there, right? What's it like?
It's actually been fine. I think we've enjoyed the quietness, honestly. People aren't actually, where we are at least, there's not a crazy amount of fear. I think people are just kind of like, well, this is what we have to do right now. So overall, there's not been a lot of like frustration. I mean,
people get frustrated. But
I mean, the overall consensus, I think, has just been like, well, it's what it is.
Yeah, it's nothing we can do about it. So I'm not going to, fret or stress about it. I'm just going to go to the store, put my mask on, and come out. You know what I mean? Like, it just is.
Right. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh yeah. We put masks on, but we're in Florida, and it's a little more open. So the past couple weeks, I've done interviews with actors and that are in California, and I'll say something like, they're like, "Well, what are you doing with your kids?" I said, "We're going to Disney tomorrow." It's like, what? You know, it's open down here, but it's different. But it's distant and all that stuff, you know, and spacers in all the lines. You don't get close to people. But so anyway, I wondered about California because it seemed since we're a little bit more open, I didn't know how things were going out there.
Yeah, I can't go into churches yet, you know, still can't service it. You know, the restaurants can't go into restaurants. There's only outdoor seating, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's what it is.
Yeah.
How's it been for the kids?
It's been fine. I think as well, the simplicity of it has been great. It's the first time Jeremy's been home
this long.
As long as So that's been a lot of fun. We've just been enjoying time together as a family. And a slower pace of life. And then they've got friends around here as well. And we've got family as well that we've seen. So I think for them, in the beginning, it was harder because everything was like on Zoom. And now as things are slowly opening up, they're allowed to see a few more friends.
Yeah.
And so like their little youth group is still meeting. So, you know, that part has gotten a lot better. In the beginning, it was hard, you know.
Right. Yeah. We've actually opened our church. We've been there 3 months now.
Wow.
But we have a small church, you know, it's about, it was 150 before the shutdown. And so what we did was we just went to 2 services, and we're blocking off every other row, and we're asking people not to sit, you know, like leave a couple chairs between you. That's about 6 feet. And then between services, we changed the rows that everybody's sitting in. We just changed the signs. So yeah, my best friend told me that. I was like, that's genius.
That is brilliant.
Think about moving things out. Yeah. So the album is really good. I've been listening to it this morning.
Thank you.
I mean, I love worship, and I love modern worship, and you guys' voices, you know, just blend so well together, and you can hear the heart behind it, you know. And some of the songs, I think it's a mixture, right? There's some songs that you wrote, and some songs. The one song that you sang, I've sang that in choir, and I can't even remember. I don't have it in front of me. The last song.
The name of Jesus.
Isn't it? Yeah. Okay. We sing that song, which is just beautiful, you know. But tell me a little bit about the other songs and writing those.
Yeah. So Isn't the Name was one of those songs we didn't write, but we felt like we sang it together, so we wanted to do that. But the rest came from, like, the first song in particular, Whatever May Come, was the first song I had written. And it was from what you were saying, me waking up one day, you know, being down and going upstairs, and God gave me a song. And that was the first song that I'd written, was Never May Come. And so I think that it kind of birthed in me this understanding that people were encouraged by it. And I didn't try to write any more songs. It just all of a sudden another one would pop up and I'd write it and I'd be like, hey, let's sing it. And so that's kind of what birthed it. But whatever may come, Death Has No Power was really special because I think with all the fear happening and everyone, honestly, the fear of death and all the unknowns, I think it's that feeling of, as the scripture says, oh, death, where is your sting? And it's going, Jesus has conquered death. If something were to happen as believers, we know that we're going to be with Jesus forever in eternity. And so that's our hope. And I think that, we have to rest on that and go, death has no power over me. For me to live is Christ. So while I'm here, I'm going to live for Christ, but to die is gain, actually, because I'm going to be with him. So, that came out, that was a song that came out very quickly. I had the chorus, and then all of a sudden I just sat down one day and just went, oh my goodness, I got inspired, and the whole thing just came out, bridge, verse.
Wow.
And so they all, Father, I thank you, that was another one that you kind of just, I think, really hit you. Me too, but in a special way. And you just started taking the reins on that one, which is special.
Well, I think, in this season, there's been so many hard things and confusing things, and just the importance of keeping our perspective on the Lord. And instead of choosing to be negative or seeing all the bad things, of just going, Lord, let's have a heart of thankfulness right here, because there isn't a whole lot we can do to change. And so either we drown in the misery and the confusion of everything, or we can just choose to fix our eyes on Jesus and what are the things we can be thankful for, and beginning at the work that he's done for us. It's like he doesn't need to do any more work. We just got to learn to rightly apply the things that God has already done in us and for us.
Right. Well, Adrienne, I know you've been in the business a long time, as well as Jeremy, but you've been raising kids and helping him. It just occurred to me, I was curious, how does he compare as a producer to the people you worked with in the past, right? Is he sweet? Is he much kinder to you as you
not on the worship project, but he was actually involved in producing one of my solo albums years ago. And we kind of butted heads a little bit, we were trying to figure it out. Honestly, this experience was really, really easy.
Smooth.
And I think as Jeremy and I have grown together, I've really learned to trust him and trust his ideas. He's really good at, he envisions things almost in his head. And so sometimes if he doesn't, it's like a more simple version of what he's explaining. I've learned to trust him that the end product, I know that he's actually hearing it, even though it's just not there yet, And so whereas in the beginning, maybe I'd panic and be like, oh, I don't know, I don't think I like that. But as we've grown together, it's like I've just learned to trust him sort of and give him the reins and let those things unfold. And then, the end product, I'm going, oh my gosh, I totally get what you're hearing.
Right,
I hear it in the beginning, but this project was so much fun. I feel like it was just easy. There was an ease about it, a comfort level with us. We weren't trying to overthink anything. We weren't trying to break the box when it comes to anything creative. It was just going, our heart behind it was really to encourage people and to just hope that these songs would draw people closer to Jesus, you know?
Right. And you have a book coming out too. I'm sure that was completed way long before the shutdown, because I know how I've covered the book industry too. And I know it, you almost forget about the book by the time the publisher decides to release it.
Yeah, it takes so much longer than what you realize.
It came out in April, actually.
It did come out already. So yeah.
And what's the book about for anybody who had, who didn't pick it up? It's a marriage book, right?
Yeah. So basically, it was, I don't know, kind of just inspired by the fact that, with the movie coming out, we knew people would probably just have more questions about our relationship. And with that, we've realized that, man, we've got it all together. Just kidding. That's not why we did it. It's a joke. It's a joke. We realized that we've learned a lot in our marriage. We've been married for almost 17 years. We've learned a lot. And we felt like that we've seen so many friends of ours that have gone through marriage difficulties or divorces that we were like, let's just share the things that God's taught us. And so really it just was inspired by saying, we want to share our experiences, the difficulties that we've been through, and how we've let Christ be the center of everything that we've done. And when he's not, that's when the conflict happens. And so the whole book was just us sharing our story of what God's taught us through scripture, true fights that we've been through, and realities of marriage and difficulties and how to navigate through things. And so I honestly feel very, I don't know, I feel like that people will read this and go, oh, okay, I'm not on an island by myself in our relationship. Right. Other people go through these things too. And then given a tool to actually apply those things to their lives. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think there's so much misconception with people that if in the silence, the enemy speaks to them and tells them you're the only one dealing with this. Everybody else has it all together. So yeah, that's amazing that you would be able to speak to that and encourage people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We love it.
Yeah.
It was fun. That was another one that was a really fun project. We thought, oh man, this might be a relationship suicide, trying to write a marriage book, but really I just, once again, it's with all this stuff, with the worship project, with, the book, with the movie, all that kind of stuff, were things that we really did feel like that God had laid in our heart to do, not just, oh, that's a good idea, or that'll be great for people. That it wasn't that. I think that's why it felt inspired. So.
And the same way you have with the worship album, you're giving something to people that was born out of your heart that will encourage them too. Is there anything you might want to say about the worship album and your intention for it? What do you hope they will walk away with?
Honestly, I really feel like that it's a byproduct of all that we're experiencing right now. Yeah. It's pointing people to, like the song says, turning your eyes on Jesus. And I think that, right now, the analogy that we've heard so often, but I think it can be very much for everybody right now, is when Peter was walking on the water to go see Jesus, his eyes were fixed on him. And all of a sudden, once he saw his circumstances and the storms around him and the chaos that was surrounding him, he started sinking. And I think that, it's right now, that is the whole theme of the record, is that a lot of people are taking their eyes off Jesus. And this is pointing people back to say, set your eyes like flint, upon Jesus, and knowing that he is the only thing that will walk you through this. And even as a church as well, like the song Your Way, Yahweh starts off saying, your church is beautiful, your church is broken, but you were holding us together in your arms. Yeah. And then the chorus going, okay, now through all that, realizing that you see a lot of brokenness right now in people and a lot of polarizing things online. People just really, it's sad to watch how Christians are lambasting each other, and it's very sad. Division like crazy. Yeah. And so this song is just addressing that, and it says, purify our hearts, teach us how to walk in your ways, Yahweh. More of who you are, tear down every wall in your way, Yahweh. Just saying, okay, God, purify us, because we're broken. Like there's a lot of brokenness, and you're the only one that can purify us.
Well, and as Christians, it's so important that we're not about our own agendas, but that we're about the Father's business, and I think especially in that song as well, like it just says, teach us how to walk in your ways, God. Yeah. And so our hope is just that this would just bring people back to where their focus is on Jesus and not on the political issues, but just really on who God is and who he wants us to be to the world around us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, frequently when I interview people, before I interview them, I've got their songs running through my head, and I've talked to Jeremy several times, but today I've been thinking of old Benjamin Gates songs. So
yes.
I don't know if it's subliminal or something, but these songs just like it just gets in my head because I knew I'd be talking to you. So it's kind of funny. I know that's old school stuff, right? Is that right?
Okay, I know. So it's so fun.
20 years ago, you think?
Yeah.
Is that when it was?
Crazy. Yeah. It seems so crazy that it's already 20 years ago.
I know. And we don't age. That's the awesome thing about
it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I enjoyed talking to you guys, and I really appreciate the worship album and taking time to talk to me about it today.
I appreciate it.
You're always encouraging, and I know people are going to be encouraged by this project.
Thanks. So I appreciate it, buddy.
And y'all have a great night.
Awesome. Thank you.
God bless you, Lane. Take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.